Thanks for clicking on this Inland Sports video. Make sure you give it a like, hit that notification bell, and subscribe to the Inland Sports channel if you haven't done so already. We're also on Instagram and Twitter. Find us. It's Inland Sports. All right, let's talk some wrestling right now. We're going to take you down to, I think it's the newest school in our coverage area, the Liberty Bison. We've talked a lot of football about the Bison, but how about the wrestling team? Coach John Phillips, he's got some of his grapplers with him as well. And Coach, man, I love this shirt. That's a big old Bison. You're very proud of that school and that team. You guys are on, is it safe to say, on the verge of a league championship? How close are you guys to winning a league title this year?
Yeah, Pep. So we're super excited about it. We're undefeated so far in league. We have Takowitz coming up. Should be a fairly tough opponent. We don't take anyone lightly. We're still young and new and scrappy, I guess you could say. But we're one win away from winning a league title.
Man, between football having such a fantastic year and obviously wrestling doing its thing, I mean, Liberty might be a new school, but you guys are winning right away. Did you feel like there might be some time, you might need some time to build the wrestling program, or did you think you might have such early success like this?
When we came into it last year, we were super young, freshmen and sophomores only. This year, we have freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. We're just building off of what we had last year. We didn't have a league to play in last year. We didn't get an opportunity to go to CIF. We didn't get an opportunity to do any kind of playoffs, anything like that. We knew we were pretty tough last year. And this year, we were actually able to go down to Temecula Valley and beat their JV team. Our freshmen lost in a head-to-head to them at their tournament that they had down there. We've been really excited about what we've been able to do with such a young group. And everybody this year gets to come back next year. So we're just looking to keep building. We got some great coaches in the room with us. Coach Michael Bozanik, Coach Johnny De La Rosa, and Coach Mark, who's one of our paraeducators here, and everybody else has been helping out. Great experience that they bring with them. So it's been an awesome journey so far, and we just look to continue it.
Yeah, pretty exciting. No seniors, so everybody's coming back. So this is, just trending up. You got some of your grapplers behind you. Let me start with Anna Bozanik. And Coach, I think you texted me that she's only a freshman, but already one of the top-ranked wrestlers in the state. Anna, gosh, only a freshman. What's it like been this year, being, a young wrestler, being only a freshman at Liberty High School, but dominating? You've been MVP at some tournaments. I mean, what's it been like this year for you?
It's been some hard work going into the practices and making sure doing what I need to do technique-wise, and also making sure in the matches to pressure the opponents, so then they can tire out, so then will do what I need to do to win. In terms of technique.
Well, Anna, listen, I know girls wrestling is really growing, especially here in the Inland Empire. There's some really good girls wrestling squads. How did you get introduced to the sport? I think Coach said maybe your dad's one of the assistant coaches, but you come from a wrestling family?
Yes, so my dad is a coach, and he's been around wrestling for about 40 years. And my brother wrestles up in Good Boys, also 8th in the state for his weight class at 106. So I've been around it for a pretty long time.
So what did you like about it? How were you first introduced? Were you just tagging along to practices and rolling around on the mat? What did you like about it, and how long ago was that?
I liked the tumbling when I was 7 years old when I got into it. My brother was at his practice, and I just started joining in warm-ups, and then slowly got more into it, and then now I'm here.
So you're like a veteran now. Even though you're a freshman, it sounds like you've been wrestling for years. You're like a veteran at this.
Yes.
Well, Anna, let me go to your teammate over there, Sienna Valentine, and you guys have both been having great seasons so far this year. Both, took first at 2 different tournaments. And Sienna, like I asked Anna, how did you first get involved in wrestling? Do you come from a wrestling family, or were you just curious about the sport?
I actually didn't come from a wrestling family. I was just really curious about the sport because I really wanted to do something athletic. I used to do cheerleading and dance 4 years prior. And then this is my 2nd year. So it's really fun. And I got really interested in it.
Yeah, I would say, like, going from cheerleading and dancing to wrestling, that's like two opposite ends of the spectrum there. But what was it about wrestling when you first tried it? You're like, I kind of like this. I think I'm going to stick with this.
I mean, it's like a really unique sport. Like, I like uniqueness. Like, my hair is really unique.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I originally tried to do basketball. I didn't like it. And then I'm like, let me do wrestling. It's a new sport. Like, I really wanted to do this. Because, like, I was like a freshman when I started. I'm now a sophomore. So, like, I wanted to try something, like, make my mark to the school.
Good answer there. Sienna, let me go back to Coach Phillips before we get the guys in the interview as well. And Coach, like she was mentioning, she has a year of wrestling under her belt, obviously came back better this year. How fun is it as a coach to just kind of see them grow up in the sport and get better from year to year?
It's actually been really fun to see the growth that these kids have had. I mean, I used to take my son to practice with me when we were at Heritage. I'd pick him up from school, and he would hang out with me until practice was over. A lot of the time, he's sitting there just kind of watching stuff, not really getting involved. And then after a little while, he'd start getting involved a little bit. He'd want to roll around with some of the guys. And Coach Ralph Nunez over there, amazing guy. I coached him when he came in as a senior at 220. And Coach Ralphie actually banana splitted him and spanked him on the butt. And I mean, he kind of earned his stripes, so he's kind of grown into it as well. And just seeing how far along we've come from last year is huge. It's leaps and bounds. And that's a huge credit to all of my assistant coaches and the hard work and dedication that these kids are putting in. It's weekends, it's holidays, it's no winter break off. These kids bust their butts day in and day out just to make weight, to stay on weight, maintain weight. And I mean, it's a family. What the parents do for us, the parents show up to every meet, to every match. Our last home duel will be tomorrow here at Liberty, and we look to pack the stands. It should be a packed house here for our league championship.
Well, Coach, obviously you're familiar with the guy on the end, Johnny Phillips. What's it like to coach your son? Do you are you harder on him? Do you try to back off a little bit because you want to push him a little bit harder? I mean, do you take it home? You guys sitting around eating spaghetti at dinner and talking wrestling? I mean, what's it like coaching your son? And he's so good.
He's getting better. Good is, that's relative. He's gotten a lot better. I mean, from last year, we looked at him and he was earning the spot. He was doing well. We've got a couple other heavyweights that are here. Just watching him from match to match, tournament to tournament, and the growth that he's had has been super, super impressive. I mean, as a sophomore, he went out to Battle of the Belt this last weekend. And unfortunately, he was the only one to place. It's awesome. He ended up placing 8th for a sophomore in a tough competition like that. All 7 of the guys that were above him are all state ranked. He's not ranked at all yet, but we're working on that. And it's just the work and the grind and what I see him put into it. So far as the coaching aspect of him, I try my best. It's pretty hard just because you get a lot of that, it's dad. It's dad. Kind of like with Anna, I usually help coach her because when her dad tries, it's dad. What does he know? It's dad. So they've heard it, so we just try to work with each other. And honestly, my coaching staff, they're awesome. We really gel well. Coach Johnny De La Rosa, I had him over at Heritage with me. He came over here with me. So it's been a great experience. We try not to talk a whole lot of wrestling just because we spend so much time wrestling that when it's home time, we try to focus on home time. Family, my wife, she rarely gets to see me. I coach a lot of sports. So when we're home, it's home.
All right, let's bring Johnny into the mix. Johnny, is all that true? Is Coach speaking the truth? You guys get home and you try to talk about homework or your plans, to go dirt biking on the weekend or whatever you guys are up to. Is it tough being the coach's son out there?
He does race dirt bikes too.
There you go. See, I knew I saw that somewhere.
Yeah, it's like he said, when it comes to wrestling, he pushes me and has other coaches because, like he said, it's my dad. tend not to listen to him. He can only push us so hard because he's been my coach forever. Because of football, I also did Mighty Mites, and he's been an assistant coach there. So I've had him as a coach forever. And once we go home, it's home time, it's family time.
Well, Johnny, going back to the battle for the belt at Temecula Valley, like Coach was saying, man, there's some best wrestlers in the state that go to that tournament. For you to finish in 8th place, was that rewarding for you? Did it kind of prove to yourself that you can wrestle with some of the best guys in California?
It definitely boosted my ego.
How about confidence? You boosted your confidence.
Yeah, that's the word. My confidence, and it definitely. As going into that as a sophomore, it definitely showed how much work I've been putting in, and it definitely pushed me to put more work in as well.
All right, Johnny, appreciate the time, brother. And Coach, let's introduce Dominic Crossman as well. What makes Dominic a special wrestler on this group, Coach?
Dominic is one of the hardest working kids that we have in the group. He's one of our team captains. He shows us excellence in his technique, superior wrestling that he does out on the mat, and we're just super happy to have him. His sister actually wrestles with us as well. She's a freshman, so she's doing really good things too. We've only got five girls right now that usually wrestle with us, and Dominic has lured her in to wrestle with us, so he's been great too. Great kid.
So, Dominic, do you come from a wrestling family as well? How were you first introduced to the sport?
I was introduced because I told my mom one day that I wanted to do sport, and I was like, I wanted to do boxing, but my mom didn't want me to do boxing. So she was like, let's try wrestling. And they took me to Temecula Valley's youth group. And that's where it all started back in 6th grade. And I just loved it ever since.
You know, here you are, Dominic, you're on the verge of winning a league championship for the wrestling team. What would it mean to you and the program to be able to have a league title banner hanging up in the gym, you know, being the first wrestling team to win a league championship?
It would mean a lot because it is our first year of being a varsity team. And we're only juniors. Like, it's just blowing my mind that we're going so far as such a young team.
You know, and Dominic, you know, this late in the season, what are practices like? Do you guys still, you know, go hard in practice? Do you try to scale back a little? Oh, everyone's shaking their head no. Do you try to scale back a little bit?
Practices are much harder. A lot of conditioning, more technique work, because we'll break off into groups. Go off. One's conditioning, one's in the room doing technique, and it's just a lot of work.
Love it. Love it. Dominic, thank you, man. Let me bring Coach Phillips to wrap this thing up. Coach, listen, I've been trying to study my Bison here, and I don't know this for sure or not, but would you be the first team at Liberty to win a league championship in any sport?
I'm not 100% positive. I believe cross country won this year already.
Oh, we don't count
nothing
them.
else.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
If nothing else, we would be the second. But yeah, man, it's super awesome. The fact that we get the opportunity to go out there and wrestle for a league championship is huge for us.
Well,
it means a lot.
I hope you guys have a huge crowd and really enjoy that moment, taking on Talkowitz tomorrow night, try to bring home that Mountain Pass championship. Coach, I appreciate the time, man. You always make time for me, and I do appreciate it. And thank you for getting some of your wrestlers on here as well. Congrats on the season so far, and try to bring it home tomorrow night.
Yes, sir. Hopefully we'll get you out here to one of these matches, and you'll be able to film it and put it out there for us, Coach. We appreciate you.
I need to, and send me your highlights too, because you know we love to put highlights on the show. We have a play of the week, so if you get good stuff, send it our way. Will do, Coach. All right, that's Coach Phillips and the Liberty Bison wrestling team here on the Inland Sports Show. Thank you so much, guys. Inland Sports.